Welcome everyone to Our Town Podcast. Please take a moment to like and subscribe, share if you can, and review if available. We'd love to hear from you, so comment below and tell us how we're doing. Don't forget to visit ourtownpodcast.com for all the links and join the members only section of the website or sign up on Patreon. Now here are the boys of Our Town Podcast.
Jeff, give me a shout, would you?
Me?
Yeah. Well.
My name's Jeff Lawrence, and I'm here. This is what I do for a living, and I'm part of this spectacular spectacle of speculation and spontaneous supplementation of the Saturn strategies.
Say that fast 5 times.
That's right.
Do you think that girl's talking?
Pardon me?
Do you think that girl's done talking?
Yeah.
Right about now?
Yeah. And what a performance it was.
It was great. Well, welcome everybody to another exciting edition of Our Town Podcast.
Extraordinary.
Yes, it is. And folks, don't adjust your sets. Welcome back, Jeff, to the studio. He's been absent for the last couple of weeks, but we're glad to have you back.
A couple of months, I think.
Yeah, secret mission. It was a secret mission.
Yeah, secret mission.
Secret mission.
Can't talk about, but it does involve Kim Jong-un and his anus, but we won't talk about that.
And plastic surgery. I've had reconstructive anal surgery.
Nice.
It was a tandem. We got a deal on it. Me and Kim.
It's nice how those work out. Yeah. Groupon. Is that still a thing?
I don't know.
I think it is.
But only for bleaching. They draw the line.
Nice. Well, if you need to draw the line, boys, tonight's safe word is chinny chin chin. So if anybody's not feeling comfortable, Jeff, you remember this. If you're not feeling comfortable, just yell out chinny chin chin. I'll stop this here program and check on you. And you folks can do that at home. Just yell out chinny chin chin, hit the pause button, and then when you take a few deep breaths, count to 30, and then resume.
Bring it back.
Yeah.
Bring it back.
And chinny chin chin because the bony nub on the base of our face is only in human beings. I didn't know this, but even chimpanzees, even bonobos, even the big gorillas do not have a chin bone. Did you notice it's unique to humans?
Wow. Well, so they have a jawbone. So the chin bone is separate from the jaw?
Yes. And scientists have been
Is
trying...
that like a kneecap?
Kinda.
Yeah.
I guess so. Geez, good call.
They've been trying to figure out why that is the case. And some people speculated, well, it helps, the chewing mechanism, but that has been proven kind
Being
of false.
kicked by the first guys going after goats. Like, I'm going to milk that goat. And the goat's like, duh.
But there's not really that many traits that
that's interesting.
species don't share, like knees.
What
and
about,
noses.
do we know if Neanderthal or any of the
Neanderthal
earlier...
did not have them.
Oh.
Yes.
Interesting.
Wow.
That's crazy.
That's some information that just would have passed over my head.
Chinny chin chin.
Chinny
if you're
chin
not
chin.
feeling
Chin,
comfortable.
So we're the only ones.
We're it.
Jeez.
We are it.
Hi
I
there.
can't wait till the aliens come
Yeah.
so we can go do
You get your chin.
Would you do that? Would you do that,
I
Charles?
probably wouldn't. I'd be
depends.
hiding in the woods in a bunker somewhere.
Yeah.
The
I can't
aliens
wait.
show up.
I was abducted when I was a kid. It was fun.
man.
Yeah.
Oh,
poked and
we'll
prodded.
have to break that down some episode.
Sometime, yeah.
Nice.
Were you?
No, never
Nothing,
been.
no.
Not that we know of.
No, I sleep really hard, so maybe.
They hit you with that Men in
know.
Black.
You definitely were
It would be cool,
abducted,
though.
Mike. You're a special
Yeah.
creature yourself.
I
I mean, in a good way.
thanks.
Yeah.
Man. Boys, you want to jump into some headlines? And folks, tonight we're going to do some advice. We got a few advice things coming in, so we're going to hand out some advice. But before that, we're going to warm up with some headlines.
Can I interrupt real quick?
Yes, absolutely.
I'm not going to do this a lot, but I want to point out something. I've never seen Mike in a white T-shirt in my life.
Really?
I don't think so.
Yeah, no, it doesn't.
It's a rare-
it won't
It is a
stay white.
rare-
Is what I can say with surety.
It'll be
I just say
yellow sweat color.
Everything I own turns to the gray.
When you
It's
were
like,
coming across the street
that'll look
earlier,
great.
when you were coming over to the shop, it was like, who's that? Because you had your hair kind of pulled back and everything.
It's my summer switch.
And I'm like, who's this cat? Oh, that's Mike.
Yeah, because it was 80-something today, dude. I was doing just a dusty,
It
gross
was a
job.
warm-ass day. Beautiful day here in downtown
It is a beautiful
Renton.
day, yes, certainly. Yep.
Gorgeous.
Yeah. Boys, jumping into some headlines. You guessed it, 1,332 days to go. Good luck to us all.
To what?
Till,
Is this
January 20th,
Our Star Blazers?
2029.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Kinda. He's
Kinda.
sort of like Deslock, but minus the style. Deslock had good style, at least.
Was that the captain's name?
Deslock, he was the bad guy.
Oh, in Our Star Blazers?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Who was bombing the earth.
Got it.
Yeah.
And they were, it's only 286 days
man,
left.
it's a lot of stress for a youth.
Was.
Yeah, I was a kid. I loved that show.
I did too. That ship was cool.
Yeah,
I gotta get that on DVD or something.
it's got to be available somewhere.
Yeah. Before you can't.
Before you can, yeah. Boys, Trump has handed out a couple of pardons this week. I don't know if
Oh,
you saw
man.
that.
That. Jesus Christ.
So grotesque.
First one was to a guy named Paul Walzak, who was a nursing home executive that was found guilty of tax fraud. He got a full unconditional pardon after his mother attended a $1 million a plate fundraiser
Just, it's so gross.
for the president.
Yeah.
She was also a major Trump supporter and was involved in the 2020 plot to publicize Ashley Biden's stolen diary. I don't know if you remember that. Her diary got stolen, and so they were going. And Ashley is Hunter's kid, right?
Jeez, I didn't know that was
And
a
so she was trying. They were trying to figure out how to publish it and stuff. But he was guilty of stealing over $10 million from the paychecks of nurses,
Yeah,
and doctors who
yes,
worked for him.
yes.
Financed a yacht, other luxury items.
Just a corrupt piece of
Corrupt
shit.
piece of shit.
Yeah.
13 counts.
Who's the worst of this economy?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
I guess besides straight slavers. Right. But he's definitely a villain.
Yeah.
Right?
That's awful.
Yeah,
He
that's
was
awful.
found guilty or pleaded guilty. He pleaded guilty, which means he got a lesser charge. Had to pay $4.4 million in
Yeah, dude.
restitution.
No, Trump is the most corrupt piece of
yes.
shit I've ever witnessed
So it's-
ever in my life.
It's what you. It's not what you know. It's who you know.
Who you know.
And just willing to pay into it. He's just being a mob boss.
Yeah.
But he just doesn't deserve.
Doesn't deserve.
You know, he doesn't have the zazz of like a Palpatine or something. You know what I mean?
Well,
or
he
even a Genghis
Lightning
Khan
bolt
had
you.
some, piss and vinegar. You know what I mean? This guy's just all bravado. And if we didn't have a weird system that just propped up people who can't really perform, because if you were a hunter, you couldn't lie about being a good hunter.
Right. Because you're never producing.
Right.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like, so, but in this weird system and society, you can just say something and bully your way to the front of the room.
That was what he was taught, right?
Yeah.
He was
Yeah.
taught
Oh, yeah.
that you
No, he's
say
not alone in it.
you
Yeah.
say it enough and loud enough, you
Yeah.
become.
I just don't
become the
think
reality.
I just think it's so far out of the scope that he should have been granted. I'm just shocked that somebody who really just isn't that impressive of a human being. You know what I mean? It's like, and he's in a terribly powerful position for being a terribly unserious and kind of dim person.
Kind of.
Yeah, I don't think he's ever
He's a
achieved
dim
anything that
guy.
he hasn't lied, cheated, or frauded his way into.
And had a system that could be held at bay, either through money or just through delay. Just like he does and has in courts for 50, almost 60 years, right?
Yeah.
It's just the delay tactics.
Yeah.
It's because it's a good investment.
Yeah.
Right? It pays off in the end.
Really well for him. So
I think it's a math equation. You just end up feeling like, oh, I'm going to defraud all these people of this much money and then have to pay a fine that's less than that. I come out net positive because of my...
Where I use that money to do 100 other things that make me money.
And then he spins it as being a positive because he's a good businessman.
And that's where it is a systemic problem.
But not a good human.
It's because, certainly, and not a good American, and you know what I mean, not deserving of the valor and respect and worship kind of that he's got. He's just not worthy of it.
No,
right? You
not
know,
at all.
Yeah.
It's so obvious to those who are open to that, and I question myself. I think that's where the cognitive dissonance and the kind of gaslighting comes into play with regard to the people that support him. Right, their rhetoric is the same. Well, he's successful.
Because I think they bought into the rhetoric, not the person.
Right.
Because they can switch gears at any time.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's just keeping that, I guess narrative is an overused term, but you know what I mean? Keeping that framework in somebody's mind, because then you can just shift it around, right?
Correct.
It's as old as time, right?
That's where our power comes into play as humans, as us, as citizens, is that when we point energy flows where attention goes.
Right.
So taking away his power by turning him off is our power, but we don't realize that as a collective.
Sure.
I don't think we realize that we're so much more powerful than he is as a group.
Sure. Yeah. No, certainly.
Yeah. We need to shut that fucker up.
Shut him up. Well, the other big and this one more famous people. I'd never seen the show, don't know much about it, but Todd and Julie Crisley, Crisley Knows Best, was a reality show for a while where this rich guy presided over his family. I don't know, maybe like the Osbournes, but whatever.
There's criminal fraud for those guys
criminal
too,
fraud
right?
for those guys. They were also part, and they were reported to prison in January of 23 for tax evasion and bank fraud. They rose to fame on USA's Crisley Knows Best.
I
think, didn't they take a bunch of loans that they never intended to pay back from like Atlanta banks or something?
That's just,
maybe.
I thought he was going to, you know what I mean? It's so bad because that's just saying that it's class division between class and who you know. I guess not all rich people are going to necessarily get off unless they pay something into it, right?
Yeah.
So weird. It's just perverse. This is banana republic shit, right? At best, this is what Russia has pulled off to everyone in Russia's detriment, except a few thousand gangsters, right?
Yeah.
It's dumb. It's a dumb system. It really is.
Our new gangsters are the nerds of the world.
Yeah.
Right? We're being pushed AI on us. I didn't agree to this. I didn't agree to any of it. I didn't
and they
vote for any of this circumstance.
And now that's needing infrastructure work, man, everybody's bending over backwards for that.
The money grab
to build server farms and all that kind of stuff. Oh yeah, everybody wants to. But when we needed no lead in Flint, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well,
right. Here's $500 billion to build a server farm in Texas. And where's that priority for an infrastructure build coming from when, obviously, are we behind the 8 ball behind China or are we behind other countries and we have to be first?
Anybody who...
It's the new race.
Failing energy systems all through Texas and California. The infrastructure for those constantly have
all the stuff that private enterprise doesn't want to do.
Yes.
But private enterprise got talked out of having to pay into the system that pays for the people, society to do it.
Yeah.
China.
Are you going to privatize where the poop goes?
Right.
You know what I mean? Nobody wants to. You know what I mean?
I think so. It's the Internet of Things.
Yeah, but nobody's going to pay into that. You know what I mean? It's like you can't have it both ways. The weird Reaganite cult members, man, they think they can have it both ways, and it just obviously doesn't work that way.
No.
Everybody's got to pay into it, man, and you got to keep the whole thing going. All the plates that are spinning are worth spinning. You know what I mean?
They are.
But you got to work at it.
Yeah. Well, you don't get anything from not doing that. China's doing a thing. I mean, all my life I've thought China's the bad guy, right? And now I'm kind of spinning my wheels, like I'm learning new things about their economy and what they're doing, what they've been doing while we've not been investing in our infrastructure.
Sure.
They've been investing in their infrastructure, right? Their
in many
roads
respects,
and their people and that sort of thing, kind of like what we did in the 50s.
Yeah, building whole cities. And to whatever success that goes, at least they were moving materials, creating all these large-scale economic
engines.
Yes,
absolutely.
You know what I mean? But also, I mean, there's a lot of really shitty things that go on there. It's like,
of course,
they do have re-education camps and shit. It's like,
sure.
But that idea of a sort of...
I'm not disagreeing with that.
Yeah, I'm not... and I don't know how much central planning they still utilize, really. I imagine somewhere you wouldn't build a whole city. Right, you know what I mean? That takes some way higher ups to do so.
Right.
And I think for socialized activities, then waiting for market forces and all that shit to fucking influence is just dumb also, right? But central planning's a weird thing, man. It doesn't always work out to the cost of a lot of lives sometimes. But
anyway, the line, building the line in Abu Dhabi or wherever that is, that whole thing, which is basically a big prison camp. It seems like you're going to build this giant project, the biggest project in the world.
Yeah,
right?
like some kind of self-sufficient. It's like a mega city.
You heard of that, right? The line.
No, it's incredible.
Yeah, it's incredible. And they build,
but most of the labor is not from there. Yeah. They're not out there like hooty hidey hooty ha.
It's like Filipinos.
Yeah, dude. And they I don't know where they don't. There's no labor practices except what the market would bear, right? It's like, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
But I mean, humans got to do human stuff, right? I don't know.
What kind of stuff?
I don't know. It's something that's eventually, and I'm, in agreement with, others that eventually we got to get off world.
Well, in the U.S.,
right? If we deserve to do so, if we don't deserve to do so, we don't have to get off world. But that should be our goal, is like improving our species and prolonging our species.
Well, getting off world is like it seems like a ridiculous notion. It seems very expensive when we already have a planet that works well for us now.
Yeah, but eventually it's a cataclysm.
Yeah, sure. It's
I mean, that's
historically,
and either we just accept that and become a Zen species, which I think is very mature and would help us reach higher goals anyway.
That's that's not happening.
No, it's not going to. So how do we work with what we've got?
Yeah.
Anyway, we're
sorry. Off
subject. No, you're good. You're good.
Oh, you're wearing shorts. Thank you. This is what we're going to get 10,000 views just for that. Oh, just below the equator.
Legs.
Yeah.
Charles, I love your peachy shirt. That is awesome.
Appreciate that.
It's a great shirt.
Another problem. Speaking of infrastructure and stuff, 28 major cities have a major problem. They're all sinking.
Yeah.
What?
I don't know if you've heard this or not. It's been reported a few times. It's not the first article I've read about it, but a lot of cities like Seattle, Denver, New York are sinking about 2 millimeters a year. Cities like Houston are sinking about 10 millimeters a year. So they're going to have major issues going forward.
So that's...
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Nice.
That's not that much. I mean, that's a lot for me, but...
Geez, because...
basically, they were pumping groundwater out of the ground and not letting it replenish fast enough. So
things are...
Basically, it's going to start...
So what happens when those gaps get filled in? You don't get that groundwater anymore. You don't get the capacity of that groundwater anymore.
I don't know about that. You probably don't. But I would think that if the water's coming back in, maybe it's washing that away. But
that's an interesting problem.
Then as those sink, buildings start cracking, foundations start busting, all kinds of
fiber optic lines,
the whole thing. 2 millimeters seems like a small amount, but when you're talking about over that amount of time and that much
this has been going on for a while, decades.
And it's getting worse because we're pumping more and more groundwater.
A lot.
And they're saying it's because we've been doing that. That's the reason why it's started. So we've been measuring
a lot of prairies
heights of cities for that long, and now we're like, hey, something's happening here.
So we might want to worry about this.
Okay.
I don't know what you do. 'cause
I heard
you need
the mole
water.
men are coming.
The who man?
The mole man.
The mole men.
Mole men.
Is that from The Incredibles?
I don't know.
That last was it Mr. Was it the mole man? Was that the last guy that came out of the ground? And
Maybe.
yeah.
I don't know. Speaking of pollution and stuff, Coca-Cola, who is one of the largest, probably the largest plastics producer that just dumps shit, because we just are a
Do
dumb
they make their own
species.
materials, or do they buy it from someone else?
I don't know.
I don't know. But they,
some of their
like,
products have started doing 100% recycled. I know, like Coke Zero, which unfortunately I have a little addiction to. All their plastic bottles are 100% recycled.
It's old syringes.
But it's just filled with microplastics anyway. But in India, Coca-Cola has launched a new vending machine. It's a reverse vending machine, so you can actually turn your old bottles into the machine. The machine
like return in a glass bottle.
Yes, remember in the day?
Yeah,
you get 5
deposit.
cents.
It's a great
so
idea.
You put it in, it crushes it, it stores, I think, about 800 bottles until it gets emptied out. And then if you download an app or something, Coca-Cola will give you like credits.
Yeah, but with the glass, you would reuse it.
You would just rinse it and reuse.
Including it, because you would return. I
You'd have
remember
to go through the
returning
whole
milk
process.
bottles. That's how old I am.
Totally.
Yeah.
That's
Stuff
totally
like
where
that,
I was going. Yeah.
But yeah, that sort of thing. I think that's better. To reuse is obviously better because even recycling plastic takes a lot of calories. And most plastics, you can't go, this quality to this quality directly, right? It always degrades, right?
Did we have in this area the
polymers.
nickel return stuff?
I think we did for a while, but not like Oregon. Oregon has it. Massachusetts,
Yeah, a long time,
Vermont.
yeah.
I think it's great.
I think that's a great, wise investment in putting people to work. And it keeps your streets cleaner. Right. I'm a big advocate of.
The single, off topic, but all the single-use stuff either has to be compostable or reusable for stuff. I would think most of the single-use plastics, I'd say all, except for like syringes maybe and stuff, but have to be compostable. It's madness. It's madness.
Well, I think we need a higher education on what to put in the compost and what to put into recycling and what goes into garbage, because I really don't know. I mean, I look at something and I go, what's this 3 on this triangle mean? I don't know. It's not like it's readily available like in your consciousness, like you get reminded all the time of something that's very important.
Or even the garbage people dropping off a brochure once a year. You know what I mean? It's like something, but
but then there's all those symbols. You just automatically think you see the triangle.
It goes in the recycle.
It's a recycle, but
only if it's the number 2 HDPE.
Exactly.
I wish I could believe in recycling more than I do, but I have a real.
There's a lot of evidence to the contrary. But conceptually, sure, because it makes more sense than just getting new stuff.
I think it starts with the manufacturing to begin with. I don't have a problem with plastic as long as it's not going to kill us, which they're finding it does. But if Coca-Cola is the largest producer of plastics in the world, or whatever, let's just say that as an example, there should be some full cost accounting of what that does, because we know as humans, we end up throwing things back into the environment, whether we want to or not.
Within moments, sometimes.
And it's not because we're doing it maliciously all the time. It's just because of the environment of the wind and things get distributed into the waters and that sort of thing. It flies off your boat, whatever. But that should be taken into account of. We've got enough data that shows that the environment has been impacted by plastics and by corporations' greed for money. They're not being held responsible for putting this product into the environment to begin with.
It's a type of subsidy to their industry. Right? Is that
we're required now to pay for that. That's bullshit.
It's only been under their care for 6 months in total. But then it's in our care for the rest of
Eternity.
its existence. So that is the subsidy that we.
So a bottle of Coke should cost $45. Well, if it has to cost $45, then don't produce it. Right. That should be the indicator. If it's going to go back into the environment and fuck up and cost more money to pull out of the environment, it should then not be produced in the first place.
Or do like the glass bottles did.
That were reusable, and then
there's a nickel or 25 cent
deposit.
And if that's the cost of doing it, because it's the weight and it's the sturdiness promise of it and it's durable, then let's do it.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
But yeah, they were allowed to externalize those costs, right? So
Right.
they did, and I mean, every industry sure tries to, right?
Yeah.
Well,
I
it's the
and our
market
society allows
system.
for it, but even non-litter trash, there's a lot of it. There's a lot. There's a lot. There's a lot. And so without it, in my mind, composting to some degree and some reasonable amount of time with a minimal amount of monkeying around with, it's kind of, we're shooting ourselves in the foot anyway. We have to make standards for what can be produced in our society. We do it all the time, right? And then we also have to have what happens when it ends up in its final resting place.
Yeah,
right?
correct.
It's like,
because we know it's going to go to the ground.
yeah,
It goes to the ground eventually.
Or the water.
Or the water.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And eventually everything in the ground ends up in the water anyway.
Correct.
Right? So
Yeah.
it's like...
Yeah, it all
I don't-
decomposes down into the water
Into the
table.
Duwamish. Sorry.
The Duwamish. Poor
Sorry.
Duwamish.
Sorry.
Love the
But I
Duwamish
mean,
people.
just love-
Swimming in microplastics.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
PCBs.
And there was an article. I didn't fully read it. I just kind of skimmed it, but talking about finding a connection between dementia and the microplastics.
Bummer.
Yes,
Yeah.
I've heard that too. It doesn't. It
Yeah,
makes
just because
sense.
it's all our clothing, every time we wash our clothes, you know what I mean? It's like, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And it's just, but it's only been, I mean, really since the boomer age, right? Really. Plastics
The
have been
50s?
around longer than that, yeah, but in the 50s, 60s when you know what I mean, the reusing stuff, we just kind of hyper industry. Everything went into hyper mode, right?
Yep. Money.
Yeah.
Money.
And there's just much less local economy, less local brands, less local manufacturing, blah, 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 blah. Because we went all in on, diesel transportation for our shit, right? So that was kind of the trade-off.
Yeah, we're due for some technological innovations that take everything out of the dump, because it's a gold mine at a dump.
It is.
It's really a gold mine in there.
Carbon, right? There's if you want carbon to do whatever, you can make all sorts of cool shit out of different carbons.
Yeah.
But there's also just some toxic nonsense in there at
Sure,
this point.
but there's got to be
Chlorines
something
and ammonias.
there's got to be some technology that can.
It's going to happen. But
Yeah, it's
that's a
gonna
great job for robots. God bless them, each and every one.
Wally.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Wally. we're just
Orange is the new black.
Riding around on our little scooters and
That's
sucking
right.
our big
Our
goals.
bones have deteriorated. It's. I think that's a foreshadowing of reality. Actually, it's not too far off. We've seen the decline of Western civilization's health and well-being happen in front of our eyes.
Right. Boys, what is the deal? Hot dogs and hamburger or hot dog buns.
Oh, right. I've heard about this.
How many times have you wondered why hot dogs come in 10 packs and hot dog buns
I didn't think that's where
come
you were
in
going.
8?
I thought you were talking about something at the White House where they're going to have like some sort of a hot dog party that
Well, hot dog party. Quite a bit.
burgers and hot dogs. 60.
Yeah.
I don't know. There was something I heard about that.
Yeah, that's sort of the age-old question, right? Why is there
8 and 10?
Just so you know, the common denominator is 40.
I know, but that's a lot.
That's a lot of
I don't have freezer space
For my
for that,
backyard
nor
barbecue.
Is that a Costco? term?
Hot dogs have always come in packs of 10,
Right.
mostly, and then hot dog buns are always in packs of 8.
Right.
And so this guy wrote an article to get to the bottom of it, and I guess what the deal is that back in the day, you used to go to the butcher. You didn't go to the you went to the butcher to get your meats, right? And he sold everything by the pound. Okay, so but there you could request, I need 4 hot dogs. I got family of 4. I want 4 hot dogs.
Which I bet were more like
wrap them into wrap them into butcher paper or whatever.
Yeah.
I love
so
that.
Meat producers always use the pound, selling meat by the pound as kind of their standard. So an American hot dog weighs about 1.6 ounces each. So you take 10 of those to get you to 1 pound.
Yeah.
Okay. On the flip side,
Sell it by the pound.
bakers, their pans that they cook in do them in 4s,
Right.
or doubled up to do 8.
Yeah.
Right.
So when they go through the ovens and they pop out the other side and they get
That's the pre-existing size of the equipment or whatever.
pre-existing. So
So is that the story as old as time? Like what?
story as old as time.
It is.
Why the heck do I have to buy a 10-pack of hot dogs? But
So the production of bread or buns, specifically hot dog buns, was basically made or created after the butcher.
probably about
And
the
the
same
butcher was-
time, but
But the butcher was doing it by the pound,
yeah.
and so that's what they did
Well,
there.
but
they,
you could go to the butcher and say, I got 8 buns, give me 8 hot dogs.
Yeah,
And then he'd just wrap them in butcher paper and send you out.
but Oscar Mayer decided to do it in
when they were
Yeah, once they made machines, they could go
stuff.
bloop, 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 bloop. You know what I mean? It's like, because, we've all seen home or butcher sausages.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right? You know what I mean? That's not what that looks like.
No.
Yeah. But remember in the old cartoons, like the cats would be chasing a giant string of fucking
Of hot dogs.
hot dogs, right?
Sausages running down the
Sausages.
street. Yeah.
This sounds like an Andy Rooney topic. Like, why are there 4 batteries in a
I
pack
mean,
versus, there's.
What entire nation?
What
Yeah.
is
We
the
need
deal?
we need a new Andy Rooney.
Yeah. I haven't
Maybe
had
we
a
could
hot
be
dog in a
the-
long time, man.
You haven't
Remember
had a hot
hot
dog?
dogs just ending up in mysterious places like mac and cheese for sure.
Yeah.
Right? Parents would sneak them in 'cause it's almost like a slice of bologna.
Oh, I thought you were going like mysterious places. Like, man, I thought this is a kid show. Man.
Throwing
This is
them
a
into
family
like Jello
show.
molds and
Tijuana?
shit. There's like fucking hot dog and weird shit in there.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, what the fuck are you
Well,
doing
take your
here?
you want to make your macaroni and cheese a meal,
Yeah,
and you
yeah.
cut up the hot dog. and throw it in,
Yeah. That adds nutrition somehow. It's like, no, it doesn't.
Well,
It adds
extra
salt.
protein.
Yeah.
And even more salt.
Fucking mass
Because there
salt,
is
dude.
mass salt
Yeah.
in
Oh,
like
yeah, no, it's
Kraft
incredible.
macaroni and cheese.
Oh,
It is
yeah.
just a
Yeah.
phenomenal amount of sodium. It's like a week's
Turned
worth
into
of
a-
sodium. And it's
A lich. Oh, man. But we all did. As kids, though, it's great.
oh, it was great.
Did you ever drink a glass of water when you were a kid? Ever?
Out of the hose.
Out of the hose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
hose I did.
Yeah.
But I guess you're not supposed to eat hot dogs raw, or can you eat them
no,
raw?
that's all pre-cooked. You sure
It
can.
should be pre-cooked.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. No,
Okay,
for
I
sure.
misinterpreted
Yeah.
that.
Oh, yeah.
just gotta
Because
heat 'em up.
I mean,
I've
you
eaten
just
those
shouldn't
like,
eat them.
but they made them taste good.
Yeah.
Salt
Yeah,
is
you're just
definitely-
warming them up, right? When you boil them or whatever. Yeah, no, that's just being kind.
Got a few passaways, some rest in pieces here, which is sad to say. Rest in peace, Yaken Hammad, 11 years old. She was Gaza's youngest influencer on Instagram. Young lady, her family was stuck in Gaza. And she would do Instagram posts on helping kids to survive, like coming up with things that they could do to help the family, things that they could do to keep their minds off of all the shit that's going on around them. Her and her brother were running around to different camps, handing out toys and clothes for kids. Just a sweetheart of a young lady. She quoted as saying, "I try to bring a bit of joy to the other children so that they can forget the war." Well, just over the weekend, I think it was Saturday, she was killed after a series of heavy Israeli airstrikes hit the house where she lived with her family.
Jesus Christ, really?
Yeah.
Fuck Israel.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, they're not being a fair player right now, are they? By any means.
Well, war is not fair. I mean,
No,
it's
no,
not
no, but
about
I mean-
fairness. It's about
Well, there was a ceasefire brokered, and Israel broke it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
if you, it's
Is it
still
okay
being
to
a-
say fuck Israel? Am I going to go?
I don't say fuck Israel. People are saying it today, but I don't know. For
don't
the
know.
same reason I don't say fuck the U.S., because it's bigger than any
Yeah.
moment, even
Right.
shitty moments in their history, right?
Because the people are the people
but the
within that
Netanyahu
system.
administration are racist and evil. Right, I'll say that all day.
Okay.
But the cool thing about democracy is, hopefully, they can leave, right, and face prosecution, right?
That'll never happen.
I wouldn't say that. He was on his way until this war came along. That's why I'm a little suspicious that the Israeli intelligence, easily among the top 3 on the planet, didn't know any of the October 7th stuff was happening? Really? We're caught completely unaware on that? Right at the time when the most corrupt premier in their history, by far, Netanyahu was a corrupt, terrible person, and was brokering deals with the ultra racist right in his country. You know what I mean? So it's like, no, he was in a rock and a hard place. He chose the racists, the ding-dongs, to side with him, to protect him, and then suddenly this war came along.
Yeah.
So
I feel so bad for those people, though.
He's the only person that's benefited from this whole thing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, and then you just, even this past week, just reading articles about how they finally were able to get the supply ships in, and just the supplies disappeared in like minutes, right?
Of course.
Because people are just...
Sure. And there's criminals there too,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
But desperation breeds criminal behavior as well, right? And war is a failure of our humanity every single fucking time.
Every time.
Every single time, right? And,
Absolutely.
And just the longer this has gone on, the less honest the parties have been, right? It's certainly the Israelis, right? And so what's that say about, just the continuing failure of their humanity, right?
Yeah.
And what do we as citizens do when we have corrupt governments, even in democracies? At what point do we, what's that mean? You know what I mean? Because we're in the middle of it right now ourselves. The most corrupt administration in American history, including like Andrew Jackson. And there are some much more bloodthirsty leaderships in our history, right? But this is obviously the most corrupt and the one with the most obvious disdain for the rule of law. Right? There's sneaky shit going on, obviously. I'm not going to pretend there wasn't. And bloody, gross shit. But that doesn't mean this is less corrupt.
Right.
And that doesn't mean it's just less bloody right now. Right? I don't think he has the capacity to really understand what this type of diplomacy is, because it's not just business, right?
Isn't there something to do with like Agenda 25 or 2025, the 2025 agenda and the 2030 agenda?
Well, the Heritage, Foundation really infiltrated our government, just like the Federalists did, right, in our judicial system, and they're just a bunch of ding-dongs.
Well, but they have the power. They're a part of a big club, right? They have the access to all the resources.
They do, but they're a tiny minority, really. When their belief system is polled at 2 Americans, it's terribly unpopular. So they have to be sneaky about it. Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
And so regardless, we are not allowed to, so far, I don't think I've made any decisions in my life that have had a direct influence, whether I voted or not, that have changed the direction that the powers that be want it to go.
Of the federal government or whatever?
Correct.
Just any of it. Oh, yeah, no, it's certainly. Right?
And so it's almost defeating in the sense that you feel like we can sit and talk about it, and there's a sense for me of not wanting to give up, but waiting. And the longer we wait, the more controlled we're being, and the more freedoms we've allowed to be pulled away from ourselves.
Yes, and because we're assuming that is our only and or premier power as a citizen, is that vote. But the things you do as a regular citizen have a much larger impact on our larger society, right? It's
I agree with
keeping people employed.
Yeah.
Right? Stuff like that. It's like
it's huge.
That has huge impacts in our much more localized area, but then that reflects out and so on and so forth, right? It's like the top-down thing is a mimicry of true power. Right, the true power is the citizenry, is the regular people.
Yeah.
It's like we get this weird image of like, the tough wolf or the tough. You know what I mean? It's just not the way it works. It's not.
No, and
the top-down thing is the false narrative. The regular, human beings working together for a common goal.
Yeah.
That is the true default setting of humanity.
Is it the being woke? Are you awake when you say things like that? Is that that's the way I look at the wokeness of this world? Is looking at things for what they really are, as opposed to what they've been presented to us as. Right? We're getting told a certain way things should be, right? And we get pigeonholed into a direction in which we go, whether we make a decision to buy plastic things or glass things, or we, get involved in politics, or we employ people, right? We're all just trying to do the best we can. How do we as a group continue to uplift each other and tear down those separations that happen?
And the shitty power structures, right? Because they have to go, and we have to have a plan to fill that vacuum if and when these shitty power structures do go, right?
What's that plan?
I don't know. That's a great question.
That's the plan.
Yep. Cornell West. I don't know, but it's incumbent upon us to do so.
It is. It's
right?
incumbent. It's about doing.
Yeah.
It's about doing and setting examples, and being kind to one another. I think we're in a stage of our lives where we've been ripped apart. And you're that group, I'm this group.
Sure.
And we're still human beings on a planet that's flipping around the universe.
Yeah.
It's
because for much of the American existence, it's been, you're on a different side, but you're still an American.
Yeah, I can disagree with you.
I can disagree with you.
Groups,
We can,
right?
But we've
discuss.
been taught to be super mad at somebody
Right.
Yeah,
and
for
tear
nothing,
somebody out of
for
a car
nothing.
for
So
pulling
dumb.
us off, cutting us off, flipping people off. It's like, hey man, I don't know what's going on with that person. That takes a lot of practice.
Yeah.
But we've been programmed through competition and gladiator kinds of experiences that it's one winner. And
that's what matters.
And that's what matters. One winner.
Yeah, right now we're in the no matter what, only winning matters.
Right.
Only winning matters. Not how you go about it. Cheating's fine.
Yeah.
Right? As long as you're a winner.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's just bonkers.
Yeah.
It's just dumb. It's just dumb, obviously. And that's why it's annoying.
Fuck
But,
'em.
we're way off.
Fuck 'em.
What's going on over here?
Man.
What's going on over there, Charles? Sorry, are we ranting?
No, you're
Doody,
good.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
so rest in peace, Yaken Hammad.
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
Jeez,
totally.
yeah. Oh, shucks.
Boys, also rest in peace, Rick Derringer passed away at
yeah.
77.
Wow.
I didn't know as much about Rick Derringer as I thought I did. Of course, he had the...
Is that a style of gun or something? Oh, he's
No,
a
he was a
musician.
guitar player. Oh, yeah.
had the big hit Rock and Roll Hoochie Coo.
Hoochie Coo.
Lordy Mama.
What is a hoochie coo?
Yeah.
It's Rick Derringer
It's
being
Rick Derringer.
fine. Yeah.
He was born Richard Zeringer, somewhere in Ohio, I believe. But his band, called the McCoys,
No.
which is crazy, with his brother Randy. Hang on, Sloopy, Sloopy, hang on.
That was the McCoys?
That
I
was
did
the
not know
McCoys.
that. That's Rick
That's Rick
super
Derringer
mild-mannered.
singing on that.
Did not know that. That's great.
Their band, Hang On Sloopy, was the biggest hit, but they had 7 top 100 hits until the record company obviously wanted them to continue their sort of bubblegum pop.
Sure.
So that was like 1965-ish, right, when that happened. So they sort of lost their record contract or changed gears, and the McCoys, a couple members left, but the core of the McCoys, Rick Derringer and his brother and some other guy, became the backing band for Johnny Winter. Johnny Winter
did
yes,
not.
Johnny Winter had a album or two. It was Johnny Winter.
The
and
McCoys became Johnny Winter's backing band.
they became and. So it was Johnny Winter and. So they did a couple of different albums. I think one was a live album, one was like a studio album. But at the same time, Rick went on to produce Johnny Winter's brother, Edgar Winter's, couple of his albums and some of his biggest songs, Frankenstein and Slow Ride, if
Are
you
produced
remember.
by Rick Derringer? Did
Produced
not
by
know
Rick
that.
Derringer,
Wow.
if you can believe that. Frankenstein also had Ronnie Montrose as the guitarist on that album,
Didn't know
which I
that
didn't know that
either.
either. Derringer actually played rhythm guitar on Slow Ride, which is kind of crazy.
We're talking about slow ride, like slow slow ride, take it easy.
I think that's it, right?
That's
Isn't that-
Foghat.
That's
Oh, that's
Foghat.
Foghat.
Yeah, but it might be the same
different
song
song.
for all
Might
I
be the
know.
same
Did Rick,
Foghat.
did Rick Derringer play in Foghat?
No.
No, I think there
No.
is.
Of course, he had his own top 20 rock and roll hoochie coos, 1973. He wrote that song. It was also on Johnny and Edgar's albums as one of the filler songs.
Yeah. But with the whole band doing it then?
With Derringer and
That's
everybody
interesting.
doing it. Sometime in the 80s or late 70s, he meets Weird Al Yankovic and ends up producing like 6 of Weird Al Yankovic's albums.
What?
Specifically the songs Eat It and Fat from
Wait, man, this guy just gets
1988.
better and better. He's
Oh,
like,
no,
my
I'm not
career
done
is-
yet.
Oh, my God.
There's more, Mike. His neighbor at the time in the 70s was Todd Rundgren.
Oh,
so
shit.
he actually ended up playing on like 4 of Todd Rundgren's albums at that point. Not done yet. In 1983, he guest guitars on 2 hit singles, both by Jim Steinman, who you'll know from Meatloaf, the guy
Yeah,
that wrote
yeah,
most
yeah.
of Meatloaf stuff. That Meatloaf turned down both of these songs, but Air Supply's "Making Love Out of Nothing at All." So he's playing guitar on that.
So good.
And Bonnie
Todd.
Tyler's Total Eclipse of the
Yeah.
Heart.
Now that you
Yeah.
mention that, they
Yeah,
do
yeah.
have a certain
Yes.
similarity.
Yeah. Derringer has stated that his favorite guitar solo that he's ever done was on that. Oh, no, Making Love Out of Nothing at All is his favorite
Jeez, that's cool.
solo of all time that he's ever recorded.
Wow.
He also did not know this, but do you remember the WWF and Hulk Hogan had that song? What is it? I'm an American. I'm a real American.
Oh, good.
You remember this?
No, I don't.
Oh my God! He actually wrote that song with somebody else, but that was he wrote and produced the WWF's.
Oh, geez. All
album.
right. Huh.
He also played with Barbra Streisand, Bette Midler, Cyndi Lauper.
Jeez.
Played a lot of stuff.
How did he pass away?
77 years old. I'm not sure what the cause. They haven't released the cause of death, as far as I know. 1997 becomes a self-described Jesus freak. He and his wife go on to do like 4 Christian albums, and then he becomes a big time like Alex Jones,
man.
Donald Trump supporter guy. But
That's interesting.
just kind of a wild friggin' life,
Jeez.
man.
Yeah,
I did
that's
not
pretty amazing.
realize.
No, not at all.
Because every once in a while you get a little rock and roll hoochie coo on like
Oh,
KZOK
sure. Yep,
or something,
Yeah.
and you're just jamming out to it, right?
Yeah, man.
I
But
did
yeah,
not
Sloopy's
know.
huge, right?
Sloopy
Because we
was
hear that on
huge.
classic rock
Yeah,
too, right?
with oldies
And
and
oldies.
Hang on,
Susie,
Sloopy.
Sloopy, hang on. Is it Sloopy?
It's
Sloopy,
Sloopy.
yeah.
It's not Snoopy?
No, it's Sloopy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it a
Jeez.
reference to a kind of a boat of a?
I don't know.
Sloopy?
I don't know. It says she lives
Hang
in a very
on,
bad
Sloopy.
part of town.
Yeah.
And everybody there tries to tear my Sloopy down.
Boom, boom.
Yeah, I know.
Boom, boom.
It is. It's just post doo-wop, right?
Yeah.
It's the British kind of.
65's Mercy Beat
And
feel.
Johnny Winter's sick, dude.
Yeah?
I mean, I don't think anybody's like. Yeah, no, Johnny Winter's one of a kind. Talent.
Yeah. He and his brother. I mean,
Yeah, no, it's a lot. It's a lot.
amazing. Anyway, so rest in peace, Mr. Rick Derringer, 77 years old. And then I just heard this like yesterday or the day before. I never watched this show either, but Phil Robertson, who was the Duck Dynasty patriarch. If you ever watched the show Duck Dynasty, it was a reality show.
I've heard of it, but I never watched it.
I guess they made like duck calls or something for hunters.
Oh, that's what it was?
And stuff, but they espoused a very family, godly, conservative viewpoint on their show, and I guess it was mixed with comedy and stuff, but not something I watched. But he wrote a bunch of books and was a fixture on conservative talk shows and stuff like that.
But not an actual duck, I'm hearing.
He wasn't a duck.
Not a duck. Not a duck.
He identified as a duck.
He did tell a magazine reporter in 2013 that gay people are sinners and that African Americans were happier under Jim Crow laws.
No, he did not.
Yeah, that's what he said to a reporter in 2013. He walked back those statements later.
Yeah, I think he's terribly
Was he
misinformed.
paid to say that?
I don't know.
No,
Just ridiculous.
I don't know. That's pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, how do you end up
What
saying
the
something
fuck?
like
People
that?
are nuts.
People are nuts, I know. It seems like it's pretty easy to kind of track this life.
Yeah.
You know, there's lots of information. We have these phones at our
their
beckoning.
disposal.
Yeah.
Oh my God, boys! You want to give out some advice?
Let's do it.
Always.
Let's do it because
I've got so much of it.
Good at it.
Absolutely. If people would just listen to me,
Yeah.
my life would be so much better.
Boys, my husband gets, I think they meant texts. So my husband gets text after hours and on the weekends from his female boss. He jumps when he hears his work phone ding and is usually, quote unquote, distant when he's reading them and vague when I ask what she wants now. If it's just work stuff, I'm annoyed that she is abusing his off hours. If it is something more, I'm annoyed that they may be having at least an emotional affair. I want to steal his phone and look, but I don't have the passwords.
Oh, no,
what
don't
should
do that.
I do?
Well, you should just ask him to be honest.
Yeah.
Right. No. That's way worse. That's turning something maybe bad into something way worse.
Yeah. I would think that you just have to communicate honestly to him that it's affecting you and your happiness. And
In the long term, that honesty is the absolute necessity of anything, because all you're doing is just foregoing the inevitable, which is,
don't
distrust.
hint around it. Don't get mad at it. Just say, look, I need to know.
I need to know. It's
happening.
really bothering me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know where you sleep, bro.
Yeah.
And I don't know who makes breakfast in your house.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's something about that honesty
People
part of it where you...
drip poison like this now.
I do.
I go, bam!
With
With a little flare.
Yeah. So I would say, that honesty thing is the most important part of the whole equation.
Don't try to steal his phone. Don't try to back-end
never.
it.
Never.
No.
Yeah.
Unless it's just sitting there open on the counter.
Yeah.
And it's, accessible. And then you see something pop up like, hey, baby, let's go meet at, the park and do that thing we do.
Do that thing.
Then that would be like a different scenario altogether.
And I'm a big proponent, unless you agree up front at your job that you are available nights and weekends, unless that's sort of specifically called out, turn your fucking phone off if you have.
Yeah, there's no way.
It's
That's not okay.
It's disrespectful for
really
him
is.
to even begin to think that that's okay.
Yeah.
Right? Just put yourself in, and if he's not capable of putting himself in somebody else's shoes, then he's got his own issues.
And in most, if it was really work, he'd be pissed.
I would.
Right? He's not behaving pissed, so it's kind of like,
Right.
Yeah. you
All
know
the
what I
clues
mean?
are leading towards an emotional
something
affair
else,
at least, right?
Yeah. That's kind of what it's feeling like.
Yeah.
And if he's vague about it and he doesn't want to tell you, then I get why you're.
And
why
maybe
you're
they're
bothered,
playing
but-
Magic the Gathering Arena.
Yeah. And you can always suggest couples therapy, right? Sometimes it helps to get
A different perspective.
Yeah, maybe.
It takes two to tango, though, man.
It does,
It
yeah.
does.
Yeah.
I've been through lots of therapy in my life, both group and single therapy. It's really a beautiful thing, but if the other person's not really interested in participating in that,
fair.
they can go, but they're just still not.
Then it's just kind
It's,
of a waste. of
it's a
time.
real waste of time. Yeah.
And it
And
probably
opens up
causes more
vulnerabilities
aggravation.
that aren't reciprocated, which is cool.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Right.
Stuff like that.
Yeah, truth is the ultimate cleanser, man. It's the ultimate light. It takes the darkness out of it, and then you don't question anymore.
Yeah.
And if you've got doubts in your mind about your partner's activities, setting those boundaries and saying, this makes me feel this way, and were your intentions to make me feel this way? Because it's making me feel this way.
Yeah.
And that's not, I don't feel good about that.
Yeah.
I want to feel like I can trust you.
Right.
And if that's not the case, then
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's in your home.
Yes.
it is. It's
Or
right
in
there.
in their
It's
home,
happening
right?
right in
It's
front
like,
of you.
yeah.
And who better to make that assessment, right? When things are off, you know when things are off, right? And that supportive nature of a couple of people, like we were talking about earlier, like I'd like to have a husband,
A dude bro.
a dude bro, right? To hang out with and do projects with and that sort of thing.
Want to go do some archery?
That's right.
We got wood to
Can
chop.
Pat Warburton? Can Pat Warburton be all of our dude bros?
Who's that?
Heterosexual
Pat
life
Warburton?
partners.
Yeah.
Who's that?
Oh, geez, he's an actor. He's a really good actor, actually. He's got a really.
Is he an
deep
He's got
archer?
that deep voice.
I don't know, but he's got
He was
a.
on,
Oh, I see.
like Seinfeld.
He was on Seinfeld. He was Elaine's boyfriend, Patty.
Oh, that guy.
That guy is
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, he is great.
He does a ton of voice stuff.
Yeah, he's really funny. I think he does stand up.
Is he was he Elaine's boss? No, that's the other guy.
That's Mr. Peter.
That's Mr. Peterman.
Isn't he also Joe from Family Guy, the guy in the wheelchair, the cop in the
Yes.
wheelchair?
Right,
Yeah, he does.
right.
Yeah. He does a lot of voiceover work.
Are you going to really wear that coat? I remember Elaine going, is that loud coat? There's so many great, he's just so deadpan with that. It's so great. That's good comedy.
Oh my God. Boys,
Yes.
a few years ago, pre-COVID, I had a really good job and was making really good money. I don't have kids, but I own my own home and bought my modest car outright. Good for you. All good things. My older sister, forever underemployed, forever in debt, and forever struggling, was about to lose her financed car and was swimming in credit card debt. I tapped into my savings and paid off her car and got her all caught up on credit cards and utilities. She didn't ask me to, but I knew she needed it and was constantly hinting around me helping her. Afterwards, she told me she would pay me back, which I knew she never could, and I have no expectation of it, but I let her say it. Now here we are 8 years later, and my circumstances have changed. I'm not struggling, but I managed to get my savings back up. I also comparatively don't make as much money as I did back then. My sister is right back to where she was when I gave her all that money. She recently came at me asking me to get her, quote, caught back up again, just like before, as if it's no big deal. I reminded her that she never paid me back the first time, which she responded with, quote, "You never asked for it. And what's the big deal? You can afford it." I love my sister, but I can't keep bailing her out. She keeps saying, if you love me, you would do it, and that we can't be family if I don't. Why
Jeez.
do I feel obligated?
Yeah, well, because that's a manipulative behavior.
That's the power
right?
of that manipulative tactic. Yeah,
That's mean.
very, very
Yeah.
toxic.
Yeah, that's really mean.
It's like having a cocaine addict or an alcoholic as a partner, and they just keep abusing that whole system.
Yeah. I've gotten to the point where if somebody asks to borrow money, I've kind of review it, and I either say no if I really can't afford it,
Oh, by the way.
or if I can.
I was
If
going to
I-
ask too.
If I can, I don't expect it back. It's like one
Yeah,
of those
it's a
things.
gift, and that's
It's a gift.
great.
I
Yes,
can't.
it's
It's the best way to do it.
Yeah.
If it's not a gift, it's a written fucking agreement.
Yes, it's a contract.
So it's one or the other.
Correct.
Yeah.
No, I'm with you. I've had lots of situations where I've let people borrow money and never expected it back. But they don't. None of them have come back to ask me for more money
Afterwards.
afterwards.
Yeah.
You know, but that situation is definitely a toxic thing where he's also allowed that to happen, right? Because it's been an open thing. There hasn't been an open communication about how important it is for her to pay that back, to prove to him that she is actually committed to that statement, because she's the one that made that statement to begin with, right?
Sure, yeah.
She goes, I will pay you back. But because she said to him, well, you never asked.
Yeah, you
that's
never
a toxic behavior right there.
Yeah, it is.
That's manipulation.
And now this person has 8 less years to earn that savings back.
Correct.
Right? Because it's been 8 years on. It's like, and I don't know how old this person is, but that's 8 less years to make that money for retirement or
Whatever they want
quick
to do.
death or whatever it might be, right? It's like,
Travel the
there's
world.
only so many
whatever it
options.
is. Yeah.
And she's also the bottoms. She hasn't felt the bottom then. The bottom has a basement, right? If you're in the ground floor of your life and it just sucks, just remember there's also a basement. So she's been allowed to go to the first floor and then recover and then go to the basement or the but she's never been all the way to the basement, it sounds like.
Yeah,
And she's going to be okay. She'll survive.
it feels like if this was something where, because she talked about her being, underemployed, or he talked about her being underemployed, forever in debt, forever struggling, all that stuff, swimming in debt, doesn't make great decisions, kind of self-imposed. If this was something where they had like a fire or a natural disaster, or
Something,
they got, COVID, they lost their job.
Yeah, that's different, completely.
Government sent her
that's community supporting community.
something. Yes.
Yeah.
But this is just, it sounds like bad. And so if you give her more money, you're just supporting that bad behavior in my mind.
And for me, that's way down the list of reasons not to do it. But that's 100% true, right? That's a type of enabling, right?
Yeah.
Sure. But just the fact that, I'm getting older, right? And that was my savings. It's not like I was just like, you know what I mean? Going to buy a castle, and I'm like, no, I'll bail my sis out instead. It's like,
should I buy that new car? Or should I bail her?
Well, self-preservation, right? Yeah. You have to preserve yourself, because the way you got to where you are is
nothing.
You're going to just be stripped loin. And I get it. You feel compelled. Family, blah, 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 right? Once, okay, great. Twice, 3 times?
And it's that once bitten, twice shy.
And then those statements.
Once bitten, twice shy, babe.
Yeah. Give me a girlfriend on a car any day.
Yeah. Especially if she's Tawny.
But that's why those adages exist, right? Or
why what?
Those adages of like once bit, twice shy. You know what I mean? It's like
Fool me once.
It's wisdom,
shame
right?
on
Me.
Remember, we were like,
Come on,
nobody will
George.
ever be worse than George W. Bush.
No.
Nobody ever could be. Never, ever,
And then all
ever,
of a
never.
sudden, here he comes. Dun, 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 dun.
What?
45 in the house.
Oh my God.
It's possible.
no, it's terrible behavior. And no, you're not obligated to.
The only thing I
just
would
dole out
offer
money.
is, because you sound like you're really good with money, because you're able to save and do all the things and buy your own house and all that stuff, offer to counsel them on it.
Maybe I may.
They won't take it, but make that offer.
Yeah.
Say, look, I
just
can't give you any more money, but
I got to
here's what I'll
prepare
do
for my
for you.
retirement, dude.
Present me
You've
with a
had
budget. What's your budget?
Yeah.
Look at your finances. Look at what's going on.
Yeah, this person's had more time because it's the older sibling, so they've had more
The other
time
person,
to.
yeah.
Right.
I've had to have my sister bail me out a few times for different things. Recently, because I got cancer and I was out of work and I needed some money going through a divorce and all that sort of thing. But I paid her back. I paid her back as soon as I had that money and that sort of thing. But I've had to rely on her over the years several times. And each time she's been very, very in my face as far as, look, I will do this. But she's asked me all kinds of questions. How did you get here? What brought you to this moment? Why are you doing that? And, the most recent situation was because I was spending money like crazy because I didn't think I was going to live, right? I didn't think I had enough time left. I was just blowing money like it was nothing.
I don't know. Yes.
It was fun. I thought I've worked for 30 years building a restaurant and that sort of thing. So I thought, after my health condition where I almost died, it was like I knew that I was going to sell some things and everything was going to be copacetic because I have the money. It exists. It's not liquid. But then some things happened and it didn't turn out the way I thought it was. And I made a mistake and I spent way more than I should have.
Yeah, but you got to live, so that's something.
I did. I traveled. I saw the world. I ate in restaurants that I really wanted to eat in. I had experiences. I had experiences. And knowing that I had money to cover it, but I just didn't have the money right then. Right? And so she really put it to me. My sister put it to me in no uncertain terms, like, I'll do this, but this is not a regular thing, right? I don't have the money to do that for you. Right. I have my life. I want to live for what I've made for myself.
Yeah.
And I totally get that.
100%.
And I just love her for
That's
that.
admirable is what that is.
Oh,
right?
it's just a
spitting
beautiful
it out.
thing.
It's great, man.
And it's a boundary, right? I think we have a challenge sometimes. I've got some friends who have put boundaries down in front of me in my life, and it's really been a great learning experience of how to put boundaries down in my life.
Stop touching my pee-pee, Jeff.
I know. Well, it was a habit. It was a habit, Mike. It was
We've
there.
all grown accustomed. For those of you on Spotify.
Have you touched Mike's pee-pee? Get in line.
Do not feel obligated on this. Do not give them any more money.
Yeah.
don't know, and they're
Unless
going to be fine. They're going to survive.
Yeah.
That's what they're doing by going to you. Is they're going through their survival
There's credit
tactics.
counseling places out there. There's all kinds of stuff.
And you don't have to feel
budget.
bad about it because they're like threatening that we can't be family unless you bail me out again.
Yeah, I'd be like,
that's just gross.
Bullshit.
And, yeah, you can't allow that kind of bully nonsense to fucking win out. You can't.
But people do. They allow it
All the
because
time. No, I've many times.
Yeah, they allow it.
Jeez.
I've allowed it.
Sure.
Here's a beautiful day out, guys. Look at that.
Another
It's
money.
fucking
Nice.
gorgeous.
That's nice.
Look at humanity going by.
I know. See, and they just want to live their lives, man.
I know. Boys,
Yes.
I went with a bunch of friends on vacation. At the time, they asked me to go ahead and book and pay for the rental, the car, etc. Couple of weeks later, when my credit card bill came, I reached out to them to get paid back. They all seem like it's no big deal, that I seemed cool with it at the time, and that I'm being, quote, overly dramatic. One has ghosted me. The other says they will get it to me when they can afford it, and the other says it's cool, they'll get the next one. I need my
man, you
money.
need new friends.
Do I keep these friends?
I did one kidney from each of them.
Yeah. Same thing as the family one, man.
Yeah, that's man.
That sucks.
That's a drag. That does suck. You might just have to take that as that's the cost of getting away from those people who aren't good for you.
Yeah.
Right.
And sometimes that's
maybe,
a reality.
Maybe it's a type of
reality check.
rent or whatever that is, right? You go, well, that's the best $1,000 I could have spent because they're going to dog me later.
Yeah.
I can trust them to do shit, man. Right?
Especially the one that ghosted. That's
Yeah.
just
What the
shitty
fuck is that?
behavior.
That's shit.
That's fear.
That's shit,
That's
man.
Probably never
they're
a
in a,
friend.
they're in a fear situation, and they know what they did.
being cheap.
I go to Vegas once a year, or have gone for once a year for quite a number of years with some friends, and it's custom that the one person in that group that originally started the whole thing, way before I was involved in the whole mess. He would pay for everything. He would pay for the hotel, right? Not everything. He'd pay for the hotel. So that portion of it was taken care of. And then everybody would pay them back. Because on the hotel, we'd go down to the pool and we'd get beers and we'd hang out and do our thing. And that would all get loaded and we'd all equally participate in drinking and eating and all that sort of thing on the hotel's dime, right?
Okay.
That would get put to that. And then at the end of that, when we got back, he would send us an itemized thing and we would all pay that. And then recently, it's gone to a different scenario where there's an app, actually, where you can, if you're going out with a bunch of people, it'll apply what you've done in that moment. So if you're out at different restaurants and it's
You only
one
got
person,
water, but somebody else got.
one person pays with their credit card, right, to make it easy, great. But it goes into this app, right? Everybody puts their numbers into the app. Everybody can verify who had what, that sort of thing, and how much was spent. So you're not paying more than you should for somebody. And it's not like, you get it next time, and then the next time.
You got a lobster and steak,
Jeez,
and I
that's
got
really
a
smart.
cheeseburger.
Bingo.
Yeah, just
right?
totally even Stevens.
Yeah, so
that's great.
I've got a bunch of cash, so I'll go ahead and pay it this time, or you got the credit card, or whatever.
Yeah, or somebody get miles or some kind of thing, right?
So I can't remember what the name of it, but
Jeez, that's neat.
So you can look into that. There's a system out there that for your next set of friends, you can go ahead and set that up so that everybody's paying their part of it.
Yeah.
Because that's, I've grown up in a life where my dad taught me that we lived in a world where we ate out all the time, right? And we ate out with friends, ate out whatever, vacations. People would just pick stuff up, right? My Uncle Dale would pick up things. My parents would pick up things, right? It would just be back and forth. It was just this constant kind of back and forth. No accounting of it at all. But there seemed to be an equity of it, right?
Yeah.
People were being conscious.
I feel like that's like us when we go to Kenny's. And stuff. Although Mike usually picks up the tab, I think, more than anybody. But
Yeah, he has been, yes, which I'm appreciative
That's great.
of.
No, I love it. Every minute of it.
Yeah.
I really want us to make it today. Next week for sure.
Kenny. Oh, God.
so
Kenny's
good.
a magician.
Yeah.
God. Yeah, so anyway, there's tools out there to...
I think that's a neat application. Actually, that's a neat application of applications.
Yeah.
Because that's just bad behavior.
Yeah, and I don't know how long you had these, because you don't mention how long you've had these friends for. If you're going on vacation with them, I'm going to assume that it's probably been a little while.
Yeah, I would think, but
Unless
I
you
don't know
just,
how the kids are.
Yeah.
We met in an elevator.
And you know what? For a long time, I thought I'd just have like all these friends for all my life and that sort of thing. And in recent times, I've lost a bunch of friends, I think, just through current circumstances. And it was really hard. It was like, what happened? And it's been the best thing, actually, as a way of just finding peace within myself, is losing contact with these people that I thought were friends, that have not asked me any questions about my current situation at all, not reached out to me. A lot of people have reached out to me, but there are certain people that I had a bigger expectation to do that, and it really kind of made me sad. I'm like, wait a minute, okay. Was I being used, or was it because of the situation I was in, benefited them in some way? So I've lost a lot, but also grown now with wisdom and a better sense of who I am, and grown a thicker skin and boundaries, and going, oh, okay. Whereas if I just continued on in the same program that I was in, I'm talking about marriage and business and all that sort of thing that I've been involved with, I would have just flown under the radar of it. I wouldn't have known that this was a superficial relationship, right? And those people seem like a superficial relationship that they're using.
And that's okay sometimes, but when somebody uses you, a superficial relationship's just fine. If that's what it is. But using you to get
that's different.
Stuff sucks. But I look at my life, and it's crazy because I can tell where I'm at in my life with who I was friends with at the time, right? Because they just sort of come and go. And, that or a girlfriend, right? Gotta know who I was when I was with so-and-so, right? Where I was hanging out with these guys, or kind of thing, you know?
And we're getting to that age, too, where we get to have some perspective on that, because we've gone through many
decades and decades
of things to reflect on. I know.
It's bonkers.
We're in our 50s, boys.
It's bonkers.
So hang on. Find some good friends. If you want to take anybody on vacation, we're usually available.
As long as you pay for it.
As long as you pay for it.
And just we have to get past, as a society or just personally, the shyness in talking about money matters.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's like, for some reason we are shy about it, when it's just like, it's just part of fair play and keeping things even. Right? It's like, it's
okay to have that quick
just so everybody's on the same page, right?
And there's no expectations and no missed expectations, right?
How many times have you guys been at dinner with a group of people, and there's that one person that kind of stiffs you on the bill, like, we're going to split it equally. Everybody had pretty much the same thing and that sort of thing, and everybody throws 20 into the middle or whatever. But that other person kind of just...
I forgot my wallet.
I
don't have cash or whatever.
Being in the restaurant business forever, I've seen that so many times where you have groups of Boeing or PACCAR or whatever come in, and there's that one guy that doesn't leave a tip because he figures everybody else is leaving a tip.
It's the world's weakest flex. It's the weakest flex. It's like yelling at a baby. You know what I mean? It's just the least flexy flex of all time.
You're not supposed to yell at babies?
Well, only if they got it coming.
That's right. So those people are out there, and I think if you're awake and you're trying to be a better person in your life, that you end up going through these cycles where you lose friendships, and it's a benefit for you.
It can be.
It can be.
Yeah.
You know?
And it may seem like a little lonely at first, but you're usually better off with that.
But what about your peace?
Yes.
Peace is a beautiful thing.
And we get addicted to adrenaline too, right? But we also can get dopamine from laughing, right? And that's the preferred method of introduction.
Great way to do it.
I don't know.
That's why this is a comedy show.
That's right.
That's right. We're here to make you laugh.
And I've decided people who are spouting nonsense, I'm just going to answer with quack, 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 quack. You're a fucking quack, 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 quack.
Nice.
So I'm settling on that.
Did you just come to that just now?
I did. Last couple of days. I'm into it.
Okay. That's a good quack too.
I'm into it.
Pretty good quack.
And I do like, I enjoy ducks a lot more than I enjoy, people.
Humans.
Yeah, most humans. Ducks.
Oh my gosh. Boys.
Yes.
Right here.
Happy birthday. My birthday is coming up, 37 years old. I really don't want to sound ungrateful, but my family has this thing about getting me gag gifts. It started about 6 or 7 years ago. They all got me these joke products, think as seen on TV, but fake products. Then one year they went to Goodwill and got weird used clown figurines and left the Goodwill price tags on them. Again, it was funny once, maybe twice, but it was a little tiresome. I kind of appreciate the effort, and it's not about the value. Just once in a while, I'd like to get something I can use, like, or really want or need. I don't want to be an a-hole, but should I tell them not to get me anything? So for 6 or 7 years, been getting like joke gifts.
Man, yeah, that's weird. And nobody else, I assume nobody else in the family is being treated the same way?
I don't know. It doesn't say.
It doesn't say one way or the other.
Probably not, because they would have mentioned
they would mention that our family has a tradition of.
I mean, I guess it would be funny once in a while. I'm not a great gift receiver. It's like there's not much I need.
Yeah, and I'll go get it.
But socks.
Socks are always.
I'm never
always
mad need socks.
At socks. Yeah, who's mad?
Yeah, socks.
At fresh socks. Nobody.
Right.
No, but Mahatma Gandhi.
Yeah.
He's like, this is wasted on me.
I've got sandals. Can't do socks and sandals.
But other than that, everybody likes
Yeah, there's always something you can get somebody that would be of benefit for them, right? Those simple things are obvious.
I always appreciate if I know somebody's put thought into something, even if it kind of misses the mark, on something I don't really need. But they're like, I think you would really like, and I know it comes from a place in the heart and all that stuff. But getting like what they say, clown figurines and stuff.
I would just
dust
next
collectors.
time I went to drop something off at Goodwill, I just drop it. It's already priced. You know what I mean? Saving them a step. It's like if you don't
I would
want
just re-gift it to them myself. But
that's even better.
It's even better.
Oh yeah.
Here you go. How does that
There you
feel?
go. Yeah.
Just start re-gifting this stuff.
Because that's even funnier, isn't
That's
it?
a great idea.
It's
Quack.
like
Quack.
I remember for years my dad and this guy, and I don't remember, as a friend of his, trying to remember his name, but they exchanged the same fruitcake. It was a tin of fruitcake.
That's a bit.
And for
That's great.
6 years, they just kept passing it back and forth and back and forth. And then it just stopped one year. I don't remember.
Got lost in the mail or something.
Some dude sitting there going,
The Hickory Farm.
It caused an evolution in the rat that found it. He powered up.
But that was good fun.
That's a bit. That's a comedy bit. That's good stuff.
They didn't need to get into each other or anything, right? I mean, it was kind of that.
Wasn't there those folks, those guys, they were buddies since childhood or whatever, and they played a game of tag? And they just continued to play a game of tag.
Never stopped.
And it never stopped. And it was elaborate. Like huge elaborate things.
Like a comedy movie based on
I think they did, But they got one guy got a job specifically for the purposes of getting like in contact close enough to this person to tag him.
That's great.
Those kinds of things are so wonderful. That's great.
It's like that one thing that we had a while back where two brothers were heading to the pool, and the older brother was like, last one in the pool's gay, and he jumps into the pool, and the younger brother was like, well, I'm not going to go swim. And my brother is still gay to this day.
So good. So good.
So great. But that's a great one. That's great.
But that's a great thing that they can just continue to call back
for decades.
Right?
Yes.
There's a healthy amount of like rubbing it.
Define us, right? It's like
I'd be like, I mean, my wife.
As long as it doesn't have an evil intent.
Yes.
That's the key difference.
Yeah, definitely. My in-laws, since I've known her, have given me like $100 gift card every year on my birthday.
Nice.
And about 3 years ago, I'm like, they're fixed income. They're older folks. They did fine. They planned for their retirement, so they're not hurting or anything. But I'm like, hey, you don't need to give me $100. I don't need $100. And they're like, well, don't you want any? Is there anything? I said, if you really want to do it, take that $100 and give it to charity. Do it in my name.
Yeah.
So
Give it to that gal that's borrowing from her brother.
Yeah.
No, that's
That's a terrible use. Yeah.
Yeah, so I know one year they gave it to the local dog shelter,
Jeez.
and another year they did it to a food bank, I think. But it's like, yes, I mean,
Cool.
that's great.
That's great.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Those things are great.
If they can afford it, but still no pressure.
Yeah, no,
you know what I mean? It's like,
absolutely not.
I got my kids an elephant one year. You could adopt an elephant
Nice.
Oh, that's great.
in Africa. So you spend a couple $100 or whatever, and then you'd have this. It's like buying a constellation or whatever. But it went to a conservatory that took care of elephants.
Neat.
Nice.
Yeah.
So tell your family to do that. Tell them to give it to a charity or
throw money. At a
to a
charity.
cause.
Yeah,
Or
that's
make
way
a
better
video
use.
that allows them to see you using those pieces as target practice.
Yeah, always not a bad idea. Yeah.
Thanks for the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Attaching little, fireworks and that sort of thing to them, and seeing in slow motion. Make sure they're in slow motion.
Nice. Boys, I absolutely hate talking on the phone.
You don't like talking on the phone?
I don't like talking on the phone. Especially at work, especially conference calls. And don't get me started on Teams meetings. Have you guys ever had to do Teams meetings?
Isn't Teams like Zoom?
Kind of like a Zoom meeting.
Yeah. I've done a couple of those.
Can't stand it. Can't stand it. Unfortunately, I get a dozen or so calls a day. Most of the time, it is something that can be simply asked or answered in a quick email or text.
Just a bit an email.
I used to love to talk on the phone to friends and call my mom often. Are there others like me, or am I just being too sensitive? No, I'm completely like that.
Sure.
There's different people, man. I mean,
That might not be the best job for you,
Yeah.
right? But
that's
if it's
true.
really bothering you, you need a different job, because that's their job, right?
It sounds like it. If you got 20 calls a day, or dozens of calls a day.
And there's like a standardization of like a criteria for, this has got a certain amount of importance. We should meet in a team meeting or on the phone. This could just easily be done by a text. Maybe that should be brought up in a meeting, in a team meeting.
Yeah, it's keeping me from doing my other work or something, right?
I will say, though, occasionally I'll get emails that are like simple questions, and then there's a follow-up email, and then you answer that, and then another. And it's like, shit, pick up the phone and call the person, and like.
Well, sometimes things need to be documented, though, too,
That's
right?
true.
That's also true, yeah.
Train of thought or timelines and that sort of thing.
Back when we all had the Nokia phone, and you had to do I forget what it's called, but you had to hit the 5 3 times to get to the certain
to play
letter.
Snake.
And it was to text people, right?
Yeah.
And I had this girlfriend, Julie. I don't know where you're at now, but she was like a master at doing this texting thing.
It's amazing.
And she could be like 6 sentences ahead of me when I'm trying to catch up, and then she'd bring up another subject, and I'm still trying to answer this, and then down here, and then I would call her, and she wouldn't answer, and then she would send a text. I can't talk right now. I'm like, bitch, you just sent me 40 texts. What do you mean you can't talk right now?
Piloting an aircraft?
Right.
Do it.
Right. Or are you just showing off? Because that is a skill.
It was a skill.
It's a skill.
She really had skills. Unless she had some kind of technology back then where you could like voice to text.
Not that I'm aware of.
I don't think
the Nokia bricks or whatever?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I love those flip phones and
they're
those
great.
bricks.
Yeah.
Those are great.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're durable.
Yeah, seemingly, yeah.
I wish I still had a couple of those. I've got about a dozen or so like iPhones sitting in my drawers, but I don't have any of those old Nokia stuff. I got rid of those.
Yeah, I had my flip phone for a long time.
I did too, but it was a cheap one. Yeah.
That's the best.
Yeah.
It makes a phone call.
I think Broseph still has one. Joe beer drinking Joe. Yeah.
Frisbee Joe?
Yeah, Frisbee Joe.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, as Mike said, if that job is killing you and you're talking on the phone, maybe it's time to choose a different career, a different
that seems fair.
position.
Yeah, but you're not wrong about.
But you're not.
You're not off.
There's
on
a lot
that.
of people.
Oh, yeah, certainly. No.
Don't like.
Do you guys get sometimes a part of those text threads? This is similar, kind of an annoyance. Like there's this gentleman that I've gotten to know over the years playing poker, and he likes to play golf, but he's a little. He just doesn't get from other people's perspective how intrusive his texting is, because he'll put like 20 people on a text thread, and then all of a sudden all these fuckers are like texting, and you're like, shut up. You got to turn it off, silence.
Bro.
We have something called the Swab Squad, which is Sadler, Olilaw, Williams, and Bressler. Not in that order, Swab, whatever. So it's my wife's family, and I've tried to stay off the list
Can I block
for the
you all?
longest time. But yeah, if it's somebody's birthday or somebody did something, then it's like bing, 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 bing.
Yeah, you're doing something on your phone, and all of a sudden these things are coming in, and it's in the way of where you want to do something. First world problems, guys.
Yeah, sure, I was trying to nap over here.
Occasionally the wife will come in and say, yeah, you want to turn off your notifications soon. I'm like, what? Oh, bing, 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 because it's somebody.
So good. She's looking out for
somebody
you.
Somebody got a new dog, or somebody got, whatever. So
the annoyances of life.
Yeah. And I don't think you're being too sensitive.
No, not at all.
It is a true thing, but as Mike said, you might.
Yeah, and if you can't change jobs, find some coping mechanism.
Or they can't, if they can't change the mechanism in which they communicate. I mean, because that should be addressed. I mean, clear communication and efficient communication should be a part of a workplace for the efficiency of everybody.
Can this be an email?
Yeah.
I guess.
I don't know how that works, but
and I don't know what size company and what kind of industry you're in. Talking on the phone is sometimes necessary.
Yeah.
But
I know that at the Whistle Stop, we've had group texts that are pretty simple. Like, it's a known quantity that if I text the whole group, or Melinda would text the whole group, or Vivian would text the whole group for a situation, everybody knows, and it's reminded that text me back individually. Don't text back to this.
Oh, there you go.
Right? Unless I say in the text, please respond to this by saying yes, or I got it, or whatever, so that I know that everybody heard this.
We're closed,
thing.
Or we're
right, but that's clear communication as to what your needs are.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's not a dozen times a day or more, right?
No.
Yeah. And
every day.
Absolutely refuse to answer the phone on a call, usually unless I know the person, obviously. But I won't answer the phone if I don't recognize the number.
No, 100%. Why would you?
Why would you?
Oh, yeah.
I kept getting these calls on my work phone since Thursday, twice a day. About 9 a.m. and about 12 p.m. and the person refused to leave a voicemail, which I'm like, I'm not calling you back, and it was just Roy Washington. And I'm like, I'm trying to think, do I have any customers in Roy? Is there anything going on in Roy?
They can leave a message.
They can leave a message if they need me. So
awesome.
Finally, the wife came home for lunch today and was in the kitchen. And
I was broken down in Roy Washington, and you didn't pick up.
Nobody picked up. I think it's Ramtha that's contacting me, but I finally, she's like, yeah, your phone's ringing. I'm like, run in, it's Roy again. I'm like, okay, fuck it. Yes, hello. And it's, hi, can I talk to the person that handles your credit card processing, please? I'm like, nobody here by that name, click, right? And that was it. So now I know, but...
Never answer the phone from Roy. You have nothing to do with Roy. I have 371 missed calls on my phone.
But you keep them. That's awesome. That's funny.
It just reminds me I've got some shit to do eventually. I'll get back to it eventually. I was talking about this to myself the other day because I don't have anybody I live with and I don't talk to many people. But that whole process that we evolved through from when we were kids, excited about picking up the phone and who was calling. We've probably talked about this before, but that whole process of, what do they call those, party lines, to the answering machine process, to the cell phone, that whole evolution where we now, like, our privacy has been just completely invaded by...
Well, you can be found because you're
every
expected
minute
to be found.
So I turned off my notifications for texts and for phone, and I check my texts and phones a couple times a day
when you want to,
when I want to, not because it went off and now I'm required to respond at that moment. And it's been really healthy
Geez, that's great.
Yeah, it's been very healthy. So I recommend doing that.
Yeah, that's that's a good, proactive.
Yeah.
I suppose I could do everything but the wife and the kid. I guess I just need and the where the grandbaby is and stuff.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, yeah.
But I bet you can make it.
So jealous. I'm so happy for you,
That
Charles.
grandbaby had to go through some shit this week.
Oh, no.
So had a
Get him a lawyer.
Yes, had to.
Was this a tough run, or what did you do?
So, tongue tie. Have you heard of this? So that little flap of skin
Oh, sure.
that's under your tongue
Yeah.
was too long,
Yeah.
so it was restricting the tongue movement. Also, a cheek tie and something up above for the top lip.
Yeah.
So had to go in and have all of
Have
that
that cut out. Oh,
laser.
poor buddy. Oh.
And so I guess it doesn't hurt when it happens, and it heals quick because babies and stuff.
Yeah, no,
Well,
that's
the mouth is
superpowered,
a
yeah.
super fast
Yes.
healer.
But later in the day, I went over there Monday, and he had just had it done. Tuesday. We went over Tuesday and just had it done. And poor little guy was like, not happy. Had to do Tylenol. The whole thing.
Poor
but
buddy.
Just a clingy little guy, but it was nice. It was nice.
Oh, Grandpa.
Because I'm glad it was so it's straightened down. That's all he needed.
That's all he needed
That's
for
cool.
now.
And he was perfect before.
'Cause
He's
he was
just perfect.
struggling
Plus
to,
one now.
to breastfeed because he didn't have full
Interesting.
movement
All right.
of everything.
Yeah.
Because
So-
those mechanisms
Yes.
tie the lips down.
Yes.
So it,
So he was getting enough, but he was having to do different techniques to get there.
Yeah.
And he was getting little blisters on like the roof of his mouth and his lips. and
buddy.
stuff.
I should ask him about those techniques because
Yeah.
yeah. How do you circle around? Do you do the alphabet? What is it you're doing, son?
Pull off, blow on it a little bit.
Yeah, thwack it, maybe nibble on it.
Yeah. We're talking about the sanctity of life, Jeff.
Yeah, but it also can just be torn down any second.
It's still comedy.
Boys, a few weeks ago, me, a 24-year-old male, met a girl at a coffee place, which just seems odd.
Weird.
And struck up a great conversation. I was reading a book, and she asked me about it and said she had read another book by the same author that she enjoyed. We went on a date, coffee place, I know, not original, and had a great time. Found out we grew up not far from each other and had a lot of familiar friends and acquaintances. Even like all the same stuff, movies, books, etc. We had a long good night makeout, which was great. Problem is, since then, she has had no free time. We haven't met in person since that first date and are practically glorified pen pals, as she will text me throughout the day, but is always too busy to just meet. The texts are good, asks about my day, what I'm up to, etc. She even talks about stuff we can do when we see each other again, movies, museums, restaurants, things she'd like to try. She just texted me that she is going on vacation to a different country for a week, and after that she said she won't have much free time either. Should I end this now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Immediately.
With it, you should end any kind of expectation.
End the
Right.
expectation.
Yes.
If she comes back and says, "Yeah, I want to make,"
in
but you
3
should be
weeks or
looking at
something?
other
Sure. Oh,
other
yes,
options.
certainly. Yeah.
If a woman wants to be with you, they're gonna
They're gonna make the effort.
they're gonna. What's that whole statement? Move heaven and high earth, or whatever it is, to come and find you
get
and,
there,
and to be
yeah.
with you. Right. So she had a good time, and she enjoys the conversation.
to her, which is great. But
And maybe she's just a busy person.
maybe she's a
right?
busy person, but and maybe she's you're her side piece at this point.
Oh,
maybe.
geez. Well.
Don't know.
Yeah.
But if she's not willing to give you the attention in person, then there's something else going on.
No, if you were interested in more personal one-on-one action, then you're reaching out to make that happen should be reciprocal.
Yes.
And you guys should make some time to be with one another.
Yes.
If that's what you want.
Yeah.
And if that's not being reciprocated on, then you're getting a clear signal.
Yeah.
That's a clear signal that someone does not want to be with you.
Yeah, or at least you have to redefine what you thought it was.
Right.
Yeah.
You might have got all excited about it and was like, hey, this is great. You know, we've got a lot
She
in
likes
common.
Evil Dead movies just like me.
Yeah.
It's like,
We laugh at the same jokes.
Yeah. Well, which is
great.
nice. Yeah. Sure.
So should he end it? I would I think somebody said end the expectation for it.
I think
so.
you should just kill her. I mean, if that's like socially acceptable in your circle of
I
friends.
don't know. I mean, they might be in Jakarta, probably. Right?
Yeah.
So I don't
You've
know if that-
offended me, so I must
throw
take
dog
your
poop
life.
on your shoes. And,
I fart in your general direction. Yeah, that's probably a nowhere long-term relationship.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
Right now.
Sorry, buddy.
Yeah.
Sorry, dude.
Been there, done that.
Yeah, so many times.
So many times.
Folks, if you need some advice from these jokers up here, then drop us a line. Hope we helped out those folks.
We'd be happy to help.
We'd be happy to help. Boys, sharing is caring. Anything new happening? Any books, movies, restaurants, parks? Anything that you've discovered? Any articles? What's going on?
Geez, well, I didn't realize that there are fiber optic lined drones for all sorts of different activities.
Yeah, I've heard that recently. What the fuck is that?
Because actually both sides, Russians and Ukrainians, both have jamming systems to keep drones at a certain distance, right?
Okay.
And whether or not it works on missiles and such, I have no idea. They might, I don't know.
Those things are so
but it
horrible.
does work.
And we're talking about these little fuckers that are like
but they work,
charged.
man, and they
find
scare
the people
shit out
in
of
little
people.
holes.
Yeah, no, it's a thing.
Yeah, it's awful.
But anyways, but now, so the technology, because that's human technologies, right? It just runs this long line of fiber optic. Yeah, I mean, but like thousands of meters.
Wow.
Like a long ways. Where you're like, I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah.
Right? So it's the tether, right?
Because it doesn't have to be a very
Fiber can go.
thick.
I guess not. To get mass information
right.
back and forth.
Well,
and then the rest of it would be whatever kind of tensile, tough stuff.
Right.
Oh yeah. I mean, you can do terabytes over single mode fiber. Almost an infinite. I mean, they've got fiber lines that run across the ocean.
Yeah.
So I mean, you can go.
It's the fastest way of communication at this point, isn't it? Light speed, right?
Yeah, light. Yeah, it's nuts.
I think crop dusting somebody actually.
Crazy about
the fastest. I mean,
crazy about doing the tether though.
Yeah, I didn't really know that was a thing.
I didn't know that's what it meant.
Yeah,
I was like a fiber optic drone.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. I got
that way,
you
and maybe they
Because
can hit
radio
with some
signals can't be
EM
jammed.
pulse or something, but evidently not, or
They'll
nobody's
come up
doing
with
it.
something that's
because
block
that's
that
the
eventually.
nature of warfare, right?
Big giant pair of scissors. Just
I remember I first saw a TED Talk about 8 years ago, probably or more, and it was talking about these drones that were going to be capable of having facial recognition, and you could set in the back of a C-130 a pallet of tens of thousands of these little fuckers that go into a city. They just get dumped out of a plane, and then they just go to work.
Yeah.
They're autonomous. You just pre-program them. This is what this guy named
4
Steve
hours
looks
of battery
like.
time or
Once that
24 hours of
person's
battery
out,
time,
and that one drone has killed that one person with a shape charge to the forehead or whatever because it hits them, then they reduce that one and they go on to the next group, right? And once they find all those people, then it's...
that would take way too many satellites talking amongst each other. And nobody is doing such things right now.
No. That's evil.
But anyway, so that was the bad tech of this week for me. But the good one I saw Friday and Saturday were the Briefs. You guys remember the Briefs?
Oh, yes.
Anyway, so they played Lucky Friday and Saturday with Mr. Dinkles both night, who were really
Dinkles,
cool,
I don't know those
hardcore two-piece, who were involved in the kerfuffle, the Matt Shea psycho, the anti-LGBTQ up at Cal Anderson anyway. Just looking to start a fight. Anyway, so Mr. Dinkles was playing there when they were the counter protest, and so they were playing, and then they played that Friday night too.
Nice.
And Saturday. Yeah.
Wow. Well, I do remember you saying there was a guy, not similar topic, but just a musician of some caliber, this drummer, this young kid.
Oh, yeah.
Is he still around doing stuff?
He sure is, yeah. And he's the door kid, typically, at Lucky. He's got a big show. They're doing Speed Fest at Lucky for 2 days. It's like 30 super metal bands, but he's playing twice there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Great. I want to go see him at some
Oh, no,
point.
it's incredible. You know, I'll keep you.
Did they like take the front wall off in the summertime so they
Oh,
can
that's
get
all
more
that
people?
it is, dude. And it was hot skis.
Oh,
But they have been putting up a chain link fence to kind of L it in, you know?
Oh,
to keep the kids
for the
off
outdoor
the bar,
area and
kinda.
stuff.
No, indoors.
Oh, indoor.
Yeah, to keep the kids from
because
the
they
bar.
can't get into that.
Yeah, and you can stuff a few more people on the floor that way.
Okay.
Gotcha. Well, speaking of music, and going along with that, I got to go to Jazz Alley with friend John Sanders recently, and we went and saw Bella Fleck.
Oh, really?
He's in a trio, and if you don't know who Bella Fleck is, he's the world's greatest banjo player, right? And he's part of this jazz trio that's a drummer, and the drummer is Castaneda Edmar Castanedo, who's the harp player.
What?
He's a jazz harp player. Beautiful man, gorgeous man. And then Antonio Sanchez, who's one of the world-renowned drummers, just a cool cat. I've never seen a drummer so... Yeah, I think of like Neil Peart, right? That's kind of a benchmark of humanity. Nothing like this guy, Sanchez, who was just all over the place. And Bella Fleck, the trio of that is such a weird combination, right? You've got a harp person, it's just the three, then they're called Beat Trio. And they were amazing. They were fantastic. And one of the highlights of that was this Edmar Castaneda, who is from Colombia. He wrote a song after he had fallen and broken his hand somehow, and it really scared him. And so he had to learn how to play the harp with another hand. He had to like teach himself how to do that. And during that period, he ended up writing this beautiful song about being grateful. About being grateful for what you do have and what you have had. And I sat and bawled through that song. His song was just absolutely gorgeous. I wish I remembered the name of it, but the name of the group is Beat Trio, and they are worth a listen. It's a weird combination of music.
Is that song, did they release that song?
Yeah, it's well, I've got the Apple Music thing here, and it's within the Beat Trio. They don't have very much. They're on tour right now, and they're heading across the United States and then to Poland and other countries and that sort of thing. So,
and like a large stand-up harp.
Yeah, like the regular cool thing. He's got like different colored thing, and he's just super animated, and he's just got soul, and he brings so much. And we were just right in the front row, so it was just right there, and they were on fire. And Bella Fleck is just an amazing guitar player. Well, banjo player. Oh, yeah. And you wouldn't think a banjo player would be in a jazz band, but he makes it work. It is a strange thing.
Bedfellow.
And a harp, right? A harp and a jazz band. So
cool.
Does it have like a influence, a different country? Like I don't know where the guys are from, but they sound like
so Sanchez is from Mexico City.
Okay.
And then I don't know where Bella Fleck is from. He's probably from Detroit or something. I don't know. Yeah. And then Edmar is from Colombia. Okay. And so they bring a lot of different influences. And I believe if you were to look it up, I think Sanchez has done work like on The Simpsons. He does the intro to the whatchamacallit, who's the podcaster, the premier podcaster, Joe Rogan.
Oh.
He does work with Joe. He's done lots of movies and lots of big events like that. But for this particular thing that he pulled together with these other two cats, there was no intention for where the actual music is derived from. Each one of them has their own influences, but they would each write music, and then they would get on board, and each one would add more to it.
Nice.
And the conversation during the program was just really great. They just really had a simpatico between the three of them, and it took a while for them to kind of they had some trouble with the sound at the first song, and I was like, this is kind of weird. It's not really jamming, and all of a sudden it just took off, and they were so tight, just together, and just looking at each other and playing off of one another, and it's a worthwhile listen.
Nice.
So it's kind of like rockabilly / I don't know. They go for these long moments of simpatico with one another, and then one will go off on their own little path and do a solo, and then they'll bring it right back into the song, kind of like being at a Fish concert or you know, that sort of thing. So it was really cool. And my friend John is a teacher. He's a professor of music at Edmonds College.
Oh, jeez.
And I've been watching him play music and perform since I was 5. Right? I remember going to his piano lessons with him and drooling over his piano teacher who had big boobs and a short skirt.
Yeah.
And it was awesome. And watching his family play music, they were a very musical family. So being with him, we could dissect everything, and he was just in awe. And I know that when John's in awe about something, it's like these guys are top-notch players. And so that was a real treat for me.
Jeez, I've been to Jazz Alley in
That's cool.
a long time.
A minute. Still the same thing. I mean, it's been remodeled, I think, within the last 10 years. So it's super nice. Had a nice meal. They got a great menu.
Yeah, last time I was there, I had food and it was great.
Great food, great service. Yeah, it's worthwhile.
Nice.
Yeah.
Dimitro. Is Dimitro still a person? I believe so.
I think he's a Bloody Mary mix now. Oh no, that's Dimitri's. That's a Bloody Mary mix. Never mind.
Mr. and Mrs. T.
Yeah. I don't know. I have no idea how the story behind that. But
I did at one time, but I don't remember now.
yeah. And so if anybody's never been there, it's on 5th, I think. 5th
It's by
Avenue.
Benaroya, yeah.
No.
Huh.
No, it's not by Benaroya. It's over by the monorail. And
I'm thinking
by the
Triple Door.
Cinerama.
I was thinking Triple Door.
Yeah, Triple Door.
Yep.
Yeah, but Dimitri's Jazz Alley is over there on like 5th or 6th.
Like Bell.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, no, not that far down, I don't
I've
think.
never
Not
been
quite
there in
that
my
far
life.
down. But by the Cinerama, real close to the Cinerama.
Yeah,
And,
nope, never been there.
And by one of those celebrity chef restaurants, the Palace Kitchen and those kinds of places.
Yeah.
So, worthwhile. And if you want to go, you enter into not the front, but the alley.
But the alley.
That's
actual
Yeah,
alley,
you go in the alley.
Oh, yeah. That's
Yeah.
as it ought to be.
And it doesn't smell like pee, and it's well lit. It's very safe.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, boys. Well, ending this here episode on something positive. Maya Angelou said, "What you're supposed to do when you don't like a thing is change it. If you can't change it, change the way you think about it. Don't complain."
I like it.
Jeez.
That is a master class in life right there.
Yes. And then Alfred Lord Tennyson came with, "Come, friends, it's not too late to seek a newer world."
Jeez. That's nice to hear.
It's never too
Yeah.
late.
It's never too late.
No, now is the only time we've got, so we might as well do it now.
Take what time you got.
Yeah, those are beautiful.
Yeah.
I like those.
I thought so too.
Maya Angelou, she's not from this planet.
No, she really isn't.
She's amazing.
Plane above. Folks, thank you for being here. Welcome back, Jeff. It's really great to see you, sir.
Good to be back.
We're going to go on to our bonus round now. And if you are a subscriber, thank you so much. You will be able to enjoy our top 5 this week, which is places to spend purgatory. Top 5 places to spend purgatory. So we're going to come back with that. You can go to our-townpodcast.com and become a member, or you can go to Patreon and sign up and
Do it.
keep Mike's cats
In cat food, catnip.
fish.
Yes.
And catnip.
Catnip.
Yes, I hear they're catnip feed.
Addicted.
Poor kitties.
Yeah.
But anyway, we
Cats.
appreciate you guys being here, and we will see you next week.
Yes, thank you.
Peace.
Bye.
Please like, subscribe, comment, and share. And if you think this episode is worth $1 or $5, the boys would love to have it. Please go to ourtownpod.store for merch or to donate now. For less than a cup of coffee, you can also join the website in the member-only area for exclusive bonus content, blogs, and more. It's just $3 a month or $30 a year. Thank you for listening to this production of Our Town Podcast Extraordinaire.